Hello again, everybody. Welcome on back to the continued Factorio playthrough. I think this is episode 7. And we're just kind of cruising along with our research, expanding things, making sure that their belts stay saturated, and going from there. So, last episode, I fixed a bunch of stuff, upgraded our production for copper and iron, and let's see what else we can do today. I was like, so I think the next thing that we're going to want to really make is steel. Because we can make steel, then, that'll be pretty helpful for us. So I'm actually going to double check the some of the furnace guides, because I would like to there we go. I would like to get ourselves to making some steel. Yeah, that's right. So steel is a lot more annoying, because if I wanted to fully saturate a yellow belt with stone furnaces, I need 117 per side. And with the steel furnaces, I still need 59 per side. So that's going to kind of do a lot. And I don't know how realistic it is to actually, have that many on one side, so maybe we can try and figure something out. But I think I should be able to fit 2 more rows of iron production. And we can go from there. Because, if I make 2 more bits of this, then, it should be good to, kind of keep things going. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and switch this up right quick. And I need just a couple more of you. And yeah, we'll go ahead and add you and you onto the end. You as well. Oh, and I just realized I'm going to be belting everything the wrong way. So let's do that. Still messed it up. So from left to right, left to right, and left to right. And now all we have to do is put you on the outside. Everything will start producing onto those. And honestly, I'm really glad that I ended up seeing this, because it's very nice to be able to just, have this design be even more compact. I guess really, if I wanted to kind of cheese things, I mean, I could, move the drills down so this like green area is just barely overlapping with here, and then, could fit in a couple more, but I'm not too worried about it. I was like, I think we're doing an okay job right now. Oh, oops. Everything is disconnected. There we go. And now this will start running again. So definitely I think our next bet is going to be getting steel production up. We've got a bunch of iron chests going right now. Yeah, because we need steel for the second tier assembly machines, which will be pretty useful. So let's see what we can do here. Yeah, am I making... Yeah. It's always the issue you run into when you start playing multiple games at the same time, because then you're like, oh, do I have this thing started already, or did I forget to start it? And as someone like me with just a really bad memory, as you can imagine, that's not extremely helpful. Just to be like, yeah, I did this here, but I didn't do it here. Sorry about that. I really need to set up a mute button for situations like that, because, you know, I'm allergic to everything outside. So, you know, playing games inside definitely is a great hobby for me because it stops me from having to just be constantly sneezing. But also, I can't always avoid it, and sometimes situations like that, I'm like, oh, I need to sneeze, and go ahead and just clear out all of that I don't need. But yes, you know, I was like, I just went to go sneeze and forgot to, or didn't have a way to easily like pause anything. And also the full sneeze didn't go through, so that was also weird, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, yeah, so now that I'm back on track, let's get ourselves started with some steel production. Alright, and I guess the other thing is that if we want steel, we're gonna need to belt some coal up. And you know what? Let's look at another thing right quick. Just to double check, because it might be something that I want to put... Okay, yeah, so I'll actually put coal onto the main belt. It doesn't seem like you need a lot of coal for when you want to put it onto the main belt, because it doesn't seem to be used a lot. Seems to be something that, you know, you just kind of put on there and then you use it as you need it, because you can probably split it as many times as you want and never really fall behind, because, you know, we've split this a bunch over here and not had any issues. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves some more electric mining drills. I was like, we might need to upgrade power here soon too. We'll go ahead and grab you. And come back on down. Yeah, it's fun being allergic to just about everything when it comes to the outdoors, because, you know, I was like, I know people that like actually want to go outside, and anytime I do, I'm just like, alright, I'm just gonna be miserable and puffy the entire time. Hope you don't mind. And the next thing you know, like I said, I'm just sneezing nonstop and all sorts of stuff like that. And especially someone who is warm all the time, being outside in the heat kind of sucks too. So, you know, it's a fun, awful combination for pretty much mainly me, obviously, but okay. Yeah, there we go. One of my favorites is I'm allergic, like I said, I'm allergic to pretty much everything when it comes to outside, and we had one time that myself and a group of friends, we went and took in part of Clean the Bay Day. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it's pretty much just like, based around doing work in like the Bay Area and, like cleaning up like bodies of water and, he's just trying to generally cut down on the pollution that can make it in there. So we go, and it's middle of June, so pretty hot. It was actually the day after prom too, so it's like you can kind of put the context in. So it's like, yeah, didn't really stay out too late because I think I started feeling not well like late that night, and no drinking or anything like that because I'm lame. But yeah, ended up just feeling like garbage, and went home and then got some rest and then was getting ready to do this. So we go and we start doing some work at our high school because there was a larger body of water and we wanted to clean it up, and they decided to mow the grass for us like nice and fresh because I was like make it easier to get to things and so on and so forth. So we go, we start, and everything's going like kind of okay. And then, it was like one of the big issues was it was, again, very hot. Everyone had been out for a bit, not had much of a chance to, stay hydrated and stuff like that. And, it was like, I'm gonna drink some water, and I laid down. Well, I laid down face first into the grass and ended up just breaking out all up my arms because I am allergic to everything. And as you can imagine, that was awful because there wasn't really anything that I could do. So not only was I not enjoying myself in the first place because it was, like I said, middle of June, very hot, but I also started just itching like crazy and couldn't do anything about it. So I definitely don't mind going out and doing things outside. However, a lot of the times it ends up going poorly for me, so I kind of just try and to avoid it when I can. And another time that so my ex-girlfriend and I, we had the same birthday. And so a mutual friend of ours goes, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to do something nice, and decides to take us out for our birthday. And, it was like both of them a lot more into hiking and stuff like that. The kind of hiker I am is I wear flip-flops to go hiking. Obviously, the supreme gear for hiking. If you've never tried it, I would suggest it because it's 100% the best thing that you could do. If you wanted to up your hiking game, they do make hiking flip-flops. I know that I've looked that up. But, so, it's like I genuinely, enjoy wearing flip-flops, and I wore them all the time. So we're going for a hike. This is also in the middle of June. This was like right before graduation. Because the actual birthday that for my senior year was on graduation. So it was a pretty good present. But so we go, and we drive around. We drive to like a state park and go over, and we go hike for a little bit. Not bad. Kind of, just very hot, but what else do you expect for middle of summer? Or well, I guess not technically summer because June, like my birthday's not in the summer technically, but it's still got that heat. So we go and we hike around for a little bit. We take some pictures, all that fun stuff. And then we go and we're like, all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and eat lunch. And so our friend had packed it for us. Well, it the big issue was that it was packed but not kept in a cold area. So for it being like ham and cheese and like turkey and cheese, as you can assume, pretty much any dairy being kept warm is not a super great idea. So it starts to just kind of go downhill from here because we do that and we're fine, but then only after a couple minutes we feel not super great, as you can imagine, by hiking around a bit with dairy products and meat products that I don't think were kept in like a cool area. So, it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do, it happens. But the other worst part, and this goes back to me being allergic to everything, is that our friend who packed this stuff packed apples, carrots, and Oreos as like things to go along with the sandwiches. And now for most people that would totally be okay. For me, I am allergic to both apples and carrots, so I just couldn't eat anything except for the except for the sandwich, which ended up making me still feel bad. So yeah, pretty much I have some bad luck with certain things, and it's not the most fun, that's for sure. But sometimes what can you do? Yeah, so that's probably one of my more favorite stories for when it comes to just being allergic to everything. So it's like we're out there and everyone just feels awful. Everyone's like not having a great time. And that might have been the day of like graduation practice, which one I think is just kind of pointless. I don't know why you would need graduation practice. It was like, I understand that like it's a bunch of high school kids, so you got to make sure that they'll be mature enough and not just ruin everything. Because it was like they talked to us about it, but high school graduation's not for the kids. It really isn't. High school graduation is 100% for the adults. They're the only ones that really care about it. And it's just one of those things where like it doesn't matter. I was like, graduating is the important part, obviously, but the graduation ceremony, like I said, no, it's all for the parents. That's all it's for. You literally sit there, you get like 10 seconds of fame, and then that's it. There's no point in it, really, and no, it was like, I had a name that was like right in the middle, so it just didn't really sit by anybody that I knew, so it was not like I could even like chat and enjoy myself while I was waiting. It just was like, all right, there's that person and that person and that person, and it just kept going on until eventually I got my name called, and then we were there. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, graduation definitely not for the kids, definitely not for anyone really but the adults. And it's funny because I think I want to feel like our motivational speaker for the graduation practice, which I believe would, if I remember correctly, was someone from the school. I think he was the one that told us that. He was like, graduation's not for you guys, it's for your parents. So it was like, just, don't do anything dumb and just enjoy yourself. And I was like, so I respected that kind of upfront honesty about it because, like I said, uh, I was really just bored the entire time since we weren't really doing anything. But it was like he was honest about it. Like you said, it was not for any of us. It was just for the parents to be able to see their children like in that type of setting. Like, and parenting itself is just kind of a weird thing where it's like a lot of adults kind of get that. There's a lot of like realization about opportunities and getting to see their children be at certain places before they no longer can, and so on and so forth. And so it's like at the end of the day, I was like, you at least should just pretend that it's not an awful horrid experience, but also at least be aware that it's definitely not about you. Now, however, college graduation, to my knowledge, again, as someone who hasn't graduated yet, but college graduation is based on, giving you that time and enjoyment, and I think it is a lot more based around you as opposed to anyone coming to watch. So I think that's a pretty nice thing to be able to look forward to. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and you just kind of go from there. I was like, I'm looking forward to being done with school because once I am, actually get myself started towards a career and do more of what I want to do. I was like, hopefully, mainly right now, I'm working on this because I'd like to, not just ruin my life while in university, because right now, up to this point, all of my work experience, like I've had a few management positions and so I've got a good background, but I'm constantly working, and I had to quit my job because I couldn't keep up with it. I was like, I went down to part-time for a couple semesters. So, I mean, I'm gonna graduate late, which sucks, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do if you need the money. So I was like, I got that, and then right now I luckily have enough money saved up to be able to take a break for a bit. But and luckily with everything being online and being recently single and not having many friends in the area that I'm in, I was like, it's not like I'm going out spending a bunch of money. So it kind of, it's a big change of pace in life in general, but it'll get better and we'll be able to just go from there. Like, and actually I'm gonna switch this direction. But like I said, I just kind of taking it a day at a time, seeing how things go, and just go from there. Hopefully, like I said, I can get started on doing the things more that I want to do, and worst case, I can, just get another job because there's plenty in my area for, the low level stuff. And like I said, it's not like I'm spending a lot of money right now, so I could probably get something and actually work part-time. One of my least favorites is how many times it's been like, yeah, you can work part-time, and then within, a couple days, or within a couple weeks of, showing that I'm like reliable and all that fun stuff, I end up being kind of stuck. Like the last job I worked at, I was there for a year and a half, and paid well. Not forgetting I live in an area that I'm not wealthy, but pretty much everyone else is. And it sucks because that means everything here is a lot more expensive, because when you have multi-million-dollar mansions right next door and you live in a house that's been here for longer than like 4 of my lifespans, you end up running into the issue where that you don't have a lot of money, but since everyone assumes the people in this area have a lot of money, and they're like, yeah, we can charge more, we can make things more expensive. And that's how I've ended up here, where I've needed to work in order to just be able to keep doing things. And but it's like I saved up enough money to be able to relax for a little bit, as long as I'm just careful with my spending and not going over the top. And of course, I say that, but also I've got car stuff to deal with, and the full 9 yards for what you can expect in being a college student that's doing a lot of stuff on their own. But yeah, like I said, so it definitely is annoying for this area, just because everything is so expensive, and but like I said, so the last job I worked there for a year and a half. I got a lot of experience for management stuff. They did the best they could to help me out, and I appreciate it. I love the opportunity and all that fun stuff, but I was working non-stop. I was hired on as part-time and then transitioned over to just about full-time, because everybody, we just had staffing issues. And that's one of the worst things that can possibly happen in any sort of like business you work in, is having staffing issues, because the more staffing issues you have, the more you have to have other people sacrifice their time. And as someone who has issues saying no in general, I would constantly be like, yeah, I can do that. And I would show up at work on a moment's notice. And also, since I was right across the street from it, I can walk there in 5 minutes. So, it's like, it's one of those things where I get good stuff because I show myself as being reliable, and I work really hard and all that. But you also run into issues because you're constantly being asked to deliver on that same level of like work ethic all the time. And once you establish yourself as someone that they can rely on, they'll be like, oh yeah, we can call you at any time. And that's how you get situations where I'm constantly like working and never getting a break. And then next thing I am having a lot of issues, because I'm like, yeah, I literally haven't gotten a chance to relax for a bit. I was supposed to be hired on part-time, and but at the end of the day, it was like, being not wealthy means you sometimes have to work for cash just however you can get it. And that's where I ended up being. I ended up just working as hard as I could, and like I said, I saved up money, I got paid decently. But having days where you get on campus at 9 in the morning, and then you're there until 4 in the afternoon, and then you go straight from there to work. You get, and I worked in a restaurant, so like I said, as management, I dealt with a lot of stuff on top of, also, most of the time, if I got there after whatever time, it would be directly after, or it would be right before the rush started. So you go in and have to deal with that. And it's just not a great experience if you can, hopefully avoid it. But it's not hard work physically, but it is mentally demanding to be in a job that you're not 100%, there for, and doing extra work and stuff like that when you also have to work at, or you also have to keep your school career going and all that fun stuff. And so it's like working from 5 to 11. It's not a long shift, however, like I said, you're working that long, but you've been out since 9 in the morning, you did all your stuff for classes, you worked on assignments, stuff like that, and then driving back straight during rush hour to work at one of the busiest times of the day can kind of take a lot out of you. And then you have to do all your closing stuff, and you don't get out till 11:30. So you have a 14-hour day. Not particularly the most enjoyable. That's not one that many people would desire to have in the first place. So like I said, it's definitely not the most fun, but again, sometimes you have to do what you got to do in order to keep going. And that's how I ended up getting myself through it. But it makes me feel bad because I missed out on opportunities to spend time with my partner, and a lot of that fun stuff that definitely did not help the relationship because I work so much, and at the time in my head I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this because I want to make sure that we both have the ability to just keep eating and so on and so forth. But like I said, there's sometimes just not much you can do to really combat that. But so I worked hard and got some experience, but like I said, I definitely missed out, and that's why I'm just taking a break for a little bit and hoping to be able to start something that will be a little bit less demanding in an unenjoyable way. And I know obviously that's what everybody wants, but I'm genuinely trying to take the steps to get there, because I would rather do that and enjoy what I'm doing instead of be miserable all the time. And that's what brings me to here. So, and slowly but surely I'll be able to start talking less about the game and enjoy more of just the kind of stuff that I'm doing, and go from there. Because like I said, obviously I've mentioned it a couple times before, but at the end of the day, talking like this in long sessions is a skill. And especially if you're trying to play something at the same time, you kind of divide your brain into two different tasks, and it makes a difference. So like I said, it's just a process that I'm working on and trying my best. But yeah, so I think that's going to call it for there today. Hopefully everyone enjoyed. Yeah, so if you did, leave a like down below. And actually, let me double check to make sure that I save this, just so I don't accidentally forget. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content in the future. Working on trying to expand the channel, make things better. Hopefully soon, maybe figure out some sub goal, stuff like that. Hopefully motivate more people to subscribe and, share more stories, stuff like that. I'm interested in building an actual community to be able to, chat with people and have a good time. Um, like I said, my main goal is just kind of making the game space better, and if I can, I would like to. So, with that said, thank you very much again, and I will see you in the next episode.